What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Happy Monday. I hope your Monday is going amazingly, going swimmingly, going spectacularly. Mine's okay. I'm just kidding. I'm having an awesome Monday because today's going to be a very fun video. Now, guys, a few days ago, actually about, I don't know, a couple weeks ago maybe, I posted a picture of a certain watch on my Instagram story, and you guys lit me up with questions about that watch. What is it? What is it? What's the movement? Who makes it? Well, I've spent a little bit more time with the watch, and I still have the watch here with me. It's actually in this nice leather watch wallet, and I'm actually going to review the watch for you today. It's 10:20 a.m. Let's get down to business. Okie dokie, inside this leather watch wallet, we have the new TOC Ulysses. Ooh. Now guys, it's actually really funny. TOC sent me a white glove with which to do the review, and come on, we don't do that stuff here. This is a Time Teller channel. So this TOC Ulysses is a 36mm kind of dressy everyday watch. It's powered by the ST1700 hand wind movement. It's got a sapphire crystal and a display case back, and it's got a gorgeously textured Buren gold dial with small seconds. Now guys, if you've been watching this channel for a little while, you know that I'm not too interested in like hyper modern Bauhaus designs. It's just not my thing, but you guys also should know by now that I do really love vintage watches. And somehow TOC figured out how to kind of mix those two aesthetics together with this TOC Ulysses. Now the first thing you'll notice when you hold this watch is that textured dial. They call it Buren gold, but really it's kind of like a creamy champagne. Now if you look at the dial at an angle, you really get to see all the little nooks and crannies in that awesomely textured dial. It just gives it a really pleasant vintage feel. Another thing that I think really adds to this watch's almost vintage charm is the small seconds, and with that baby blue hand, it just pops against that dial. A very, very clean, nicely done contrast. All right, so now that we've gotten this watch's vintage aesthetic out of the way, let's talk about this watch's modern aesthetic, because as I said earlier, this TOC Ulysses kind of has both going on. So if you look at the hour and the minute hands, you'll notice they're both very, very thin, almost sterile, and then when you pair that with the indexes they chose to use on this dial, it almost brings in this like Bauhaus modern design. I'm not super into Bauhaus designs, but I don't know, to each their own. What do you think? Leave me a comment. So why don't we go ahead and throw this TOC Ulysses on the wrist and see how it feels. And now guys, I was just wearing a Seiko SKX 007 on a Zulu strap. Boy, this 36mm TOC Ulysses feels very different. Now on my 7.5-inch wrist, I think this 36mm watch wears quite well. I think it could be a very nice kind of dressy everyday piece. Now I believe TOC offers this watch in 40mm as well, and I think they have a multitude of other dials to choose from, but this Buren gold textured dial in 36mm with the hand wind movement, I think this is the best spec by far. All right, now if we take a peek through this watch's display case back, you'll see that ST1700 hand wind movement. Now guys, the ST1700 is manufactured by Seagull, which means the movement is Chinese. Wait. Chinese? I can't wear a Chinese watch. I can't wear a Chinese watch. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. The ST1700 is a solid movement, and just from a design perspective, I'm a sucker for display case backs. I think they did a good job with that. A nice touch. And while we're looking at that display case back, along the border, you'll notice it says Dublin. That's right. This watch is Irish. I've never reviewed an Irish watch. This is my first time. I think it's also my first time wearing an Irish watch. So, hey, first time for everything. So all in all, I think TOC did a very good job with the Ulysses. You know, the size being 36mm, that gorgeously textured dial, small seconds, sapphire crystal, hand wind movement. It's a very cool spec, especially when you consider that most micro brands nowadays are trying to sell huge quartz watches. It's just very refreshing to see a small mechanical one being released. Now, I do have two main complaints about the TOC Ulysses. First, those hyper thin hands, too Bauhausy, too modern, too sterile for me, but that's just personal preference. And then let's look at that display case back one more time. You'll notice the screws that are holding on the case back, they're not very well finished, okay? You can see that some of the screw heads are, they're not quite stripped, but they weren't finished very well. Why is this a big deal to me? Well, if you have a display case back and writing back there, you expect people to look back there, you should just spend a bit more time polishing those up, in my opinion. I don't know, two small complaints. Am I stupid for complaining about it? Let me know in the comments. Now, Talk is currently in the middle of their Kickstarter campaign for the Talk Ulysses. If you're interested in picking one up or learning more about the different options they have available, click the link in my description below. You can learn a lot more about their different options there. Now, guys, since I've had this watch for a little while and I've been wearing it and kind of trying to formulate my review, I've been trying to think of watches that would compete with this Talk Ulysses. Which watch would I compare to this Talk Ulysses? I've been kind of getting maybe an Orient Bambino vibe meets a Junkers 6032. Now, this watch I think is going to retail just under $500, so this is much more expensive than an Orient Bambino, but it's also a lot less expensive than that Junkers 6032. So yeah, right in the middle there. But let me know what you think. What watches would you compare to this? Are you at all interested in this Talk Ulysses? Would you ever wear it? Would you never wear it? Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about the Talk Ulysses. Pretty fun micro brand from Ireland. Hey, who would have thunk? Now, guys, I want to remind you, my SKX 007 print giveaway is still going on. If you recall, I teamed up with 937.com. We want to give one of those prints away to one of my lucky subscribers. So, guys, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, please check out 937 on Instagram. Check me out on Instagram, and please follow me on Vero. Follow The Time Teller on Vero. Once you do that, you're entered to win one of these awesome SKX prints from 937.com. Now, guys, if this is your first time joining us here on the Time Teller channel, I want to say welcome and thank you for checking us out. And please, I want to urge you to consider clicking that subscribe button. It takes 1 second and it helps me out a ton. And while you're at it, you can go ahead and click that little bell icon so you do not miss an episode of the Time Teller. There's just so much more awesome content on the way and you don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with other watch enthusiasts, other people that you think would enjoy this. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.